How's it going, everyone? I'm sorry if I sound raunchy or horrible, um, or if I randomly get up to blow my nose. I currently got COVID for the second time. I know it really does suck. Or if I cough randomly, I apologize. I'm still getting over my symptoms. I've had it for a couple days now. It hit me hard the last couple days, so um, I've just been resting up and all that. But that's not what you're here for. Um, I was I just saw this because I saw Openville going over it, so I just wanted to catch up on it. So I watched the first episode of the podcast, where he first comes out about it, where Angry Cops comes out about these allegations, and I'm sorry if I randomly take breaks to breathe. I can't breathe in my nose, and I'm a natural nose breather. I'm sorry. Uh, and he pretty much, I'm sure everyone knows about the story, but for anyone who's clicking on this, because it has been over like a month already, uh, I don't know how. No, they just posted another episode. And I saw his comment on Oombaville saying they just posted a recent episode. This one is damning, so I'm gonna be reacting to it. And this is gonna be a long video. Probably not gonna get any views, honestly. But honestly, I don't give a shit. I'm just here to uh um I'm a loss of words because this is fucked up. This got me really pissed off. So pretty much what happened is the school system is pretty much covering. This is the only type of shit I hear in like police corruption and stuff like that. Obviously, he's right because I don't hear the news report talking about school corruption. I mostly hear it from like all like this corruption in the FBI, the CIA, the your local police department is corrupted because some random cop got drunk and decided to money launder or like give guns away to terrorists. Like, but this isn't something that you hear about police. And honestly, if I react to it, then I will. If I don't, then I end it because it's an hour long, and usually, oh, screw it. I'm gonna react to it. Like I said, point is that it was because they were like burying sexual crimes. Uh, for one, between a minor and a minor, and and another time because of uh, I already forgot. Sorry, I'm sick. My memory's all fuzzy. I just watched it. Come on. Because of a guy who came onto school, but they covered up the fact that he attempted to kidnap two students. Uh, but now he's gotten arrested. They filed all that. Oopaville covered that. He's where I got that update from. All the videos will be in the description below. And yeah, I just watched the other two videos already. I just did. Haven't been able to sleep because of this goddamn COVID. NyQuil ain't do shit to help me sleep. uh, if you guys want to catch up onto the current episode, then go click on the links below. So, spoiler warning, this is going on to what is up to date, because this is 2 days ago. So, now I'm recommended. So, guys, grab your snacks, grab something to drink. I'm drinking some Gatorade to help me by COVID. Didn't know Gatorade helps, but it does. So, Gatorade's good for you. So, by the way, if by chance unsubscribe sees this, I'm doing my part. Literally played the meme of I'm doing my part. My mom loves that movie. I just because every time if I'm talking too much, then just fucking fast forward. Uh, I'm just guys came on to my channel to for me to talk about my thoughts on this, and uh, I didn't have something like this go on. Obviously, this is like huge. Huge is an understatement. But point is that I did have teachers that didn't do shit. Pretty much, I was bullied into the thought of into thoughts of suicide. Uh, and I wanted all because like the school did not want. School never does. Mine's more of like schools never do anything about bullying. That's where my line's in. Not on the line of this. I'm sure cops are gonna be like, "Oh, your story has is not the same line of kids getting sexually assaulted." I know, but it's still on the course of school not doing anything to protect a student who could have potentially taken his own life if I wasn't afraid to, because I'm terrified of dying. Uh, so like I was getting bullied day in and day out. Every time I went to school, I was terrified of going to said school because I was scared of either of getting constantly made fun of. I I thought I had friends, but they were fake. They only pretended to be my friend in order to break me more. So, uh, yeah, and it all started from elementary school all the way through middle school until I finally moved to another school, a fresh high school in a different state, and and I just I got a fresh start there, and plus and honestly, at the same time, I'm grateful that they did that because it made me more stronger because I was able to stand up for myself when I was getting bullied in high school, and that guy fucking he backed off. I was happy about that, but still doesn't change the fact that some teachers did do what they could. I'm not gonna lie, shout out to those teachers. Uh, but like they didn't reprimand them. They're still there bullying me every day. I want to dox one of my bullies, but I'm not gonna go that low. Cause unlike him, I have morals. Uh, but yeah, let's just get straight to this. I've already been talking for 7 minutes, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy the reaction video, the long ass reaction video. By the way, if we don't, if it seems like I'm just watching the video and not adding my own informative content, it does seem like I'm actually reacting to it. I'm turning into fucking Sniper Wolf and stealing content. I'm not. I just don't want to interrupt him because he's bringing damning evidence. So, uh, so I just, well, so I'll just let him talk, and whenever I can get awarded as if I was there, part of the podcast, I will. And I was gonna say, if a subscribed podcast, uh, or if any one of the members sees this video, I love you guys' podcast. I don't watch it every day, and I apologize for that. I've just been busy with my own life. Like I said, I recently got COVID, so I've been laid up for a couple days. So I just found your podcast about this because the most recent thing, like the month ago one, just popped up. No, Opaville popped up, and then I wanted to catch up. So I started on episode one. Technically, that would be like episodes. That's what I call them. And then now called up to here. So I definitely watch your podcast with Soup and Ethan and all them. Hey, you guys are fucking hilarious. Uh, but it's just crazy. Like as Ubaville said, it took a group of idiots, quote unquote. Not calling you guys that in a demeaning way. It just you guys said it so yourself. A group of autistic people who to finally get some fucking change out there. Like I can't believe that's what it took. It didn't take a rogue news reporter to crack down on the case. It took a fucking podcast, which is insane. All right, let's get into it. Let me just get my window capture ready. YouTube, and it's not work. Oh, because I don't have it on. My bad, guys. Let's get
Accountability? Buffalo Public School System?
Ooh, that's a little bit loud. At least for me. Alright. So, I'm not stealing content. Unlike Sniper Wolf, shout out to them. Okay? I am not stealing content. I'm not taking their name out. Boom. Like I said, I'm not going to be interrupting. I love the comments. I was just reading the comments real quick.
Sounds like justice is being obstructed.
They're just clipping a couple second segments out.
Wow,
So,
I wonder what that's like.
speaking of, you guys want to sue one of the news channels?
Oh,
Would
get
love
ready
to.
for this.
I built an entire case to sue one of the news channels.
Nick unfolds the binder of doom.
You get what you deserve.
Ooh, I didn't see that part.
Say hi to Eli. He's racially ambiguous and Brandon. His hair isn't fabulous and donut. A dark joke disposition, and there's a
Oh yeah, I got onto Donut by my mom's boyfriend.
fat electrician. Welcome to unsubscribe.
Did we do the pop for this one? Do we pop the top for this one?
Yeah, for
Fuck
Ed.
it.
For Ed. Oh, yeah, we
Oh,
got to
yeah.
do it for Ed.
What is it,
Guys,
Dranch?
It's finally
He's such a
over.
piece of shit.
It's Ed Dranch?
I think it's Ed Dranch.
Yeah. You Ed.
Ed Duranch.
D-R-A, I think Dranch.
Dranch?
The D is silent.
Ed.
No, it's not.
On the count of Ed. 1, 2, Ed.
I don't have
Do
a
we have
pop, I
wine
a
glasses?
Gatorade. I can't drink soda.
Yeah, we should be classy. We should put this in
Do we have a wine
glasses.
glass? I should put this in a wine glass like the Buffalo School Board member.
Is there any
That's okay, though. That makes it fancy.
That's right.
Try not to burp.
It's okay. I'm on a podcast where I'm supposed to be drinking. She's in a school board meeting open to the public, drinking cranberry juice out of a wine glass that she slams and then proceeds to flip off the camera screaming, "F you bitch."
Which was
dude.
fucking crazy. Like, I thought it was an exaggeration
No.
when you sent it. It's exactly what happened.
Yep, that's exactly. And the best part, just so you know that Buffalo School Systems is like super into like telling the truth and doing the right thing. The school board member, when she got called out on it by the other school board members, you want to know what she did?
Denied it.
She said, "That's not true, and I'm looking at pursuing legal action against that fellow school board member for slandering me."
That's crazy, because just recently they said that's not true and we're thinking of pursuing legal action.
Wait,
Yeah, I
that
know.
was about me though. About the thing that I said. That's true.
I know. And then you know what happened? The video came out. And then she apologized. And then everybody got mad and said, "You need to forgive her because she said sorry. And we can't hold adults accountable for their actions, apparently."
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unsubscribe Podcast. I'm joined today by Eli Double Tap, Fat Electrician, our good friend Angry Cops, who has a lot to talk about, Brandon Herrera, myself, Talented Operator. Thank you so much for being here.
You missed his binder.
Nick's binder.
A special appearance.
Gigantic fucking binder.
Be the bigger
I love
bully.
that name.
Today's episode, we're going to have Rich. This is going to conclude everything or get, hopefully, everything in the right direction as we...
Quick pause. I just want to say, it's just getting this out there, okay?
I mean, Nick unfolds the binder of doom, his 3-ring war book.
Oh, but real quick, we since we were already on it, homegirl that denied.
Yeah, editor, I'll get you the video. Go ahead and throw up the video of the Honorable Paulette Woods slamming her glass of wine, then flipping off the school board and saying, "Shut the f up, bitch," repeatedly. She then goes on to say that never happened and I'm going to sue whoever says I did it. And then the video comes out and she's like, "I'm sorry," on a podium. This is also, I can get you the video for this too. She's at the podium and she like does her...
Oh my god, look how fucking short she is. She looks like a fucking... Nothing wrong with dwarves. Nothing wrong with short people. It's just like, come on. Like, she doesn't even reach the fucking podium.
apology. Then she has her bishop come up, or like her priest or pastor, or religious leader, whatever. He comes up and starts screaming at the audience and is like, "She apologized and you guys need to accept this. This is nothing more," this is their
he's
quote,
definitely
"This
fucking
is
her.
nothing more than the high-tech lynching."
It is unacceptable that after giving an apology to our colleagues and constituents, that you choose to do a public high-tech lynching of a black woman.
Which is a
Oh my god, he's playing the race card. This dumb motherfucker is playing the race card. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's black. Bro, a motherfucking white guy, an Asian guy, a Hispanic guy. Like, if I were to do that, I would be held accountable. Bro, it's not the fact that she's black. It's the fact that she was drinking wine. And some type of call, he has explained it yet? Oh my god.
Wild fucking thing to say.
Yeah.
As somebody that's read a ton of historical accounts of black war heroes who fought in World War II that literally had their fathers or uncles or brothers go through something like that, and then for you to equate that, just the unjustified, lawless killing of somebody for the color of their skin, to people being upset that you were in a school board meeting saying, shut the up bitch, is flipping off the camera while drinking, is fucking disgusting, and that alone should disqualify you from overseeing the education of children.
Oh, she's still on the board.
She's still on the board.
She's still on the board.
She's a board member. She's a sitting board member.
Was she the spokesperson when everything first came out, when they had that big meeting, that initial meeting?
That was the superintendent. I forget her name. It's hyphenated. It just is. It's like
I don't remember her name, but it's hyphenated.
something or all.
No, that's absurd to me because that's just basic general accountability.
Not with Buffalo schools, it's not.
Accountability? Buffalo public school system?
Like, this is a high-tech lynching. It's like, no, this is just us accusing you of something you were on camera doing.
Ma'am, there's video footage. This is a Wendy's.
I don't know, it's disgusting behavior.
Fucking absurd.
Yeah, so I guess where do you guys want to go from
Rich,
here?
give us an update on where you're starting right now. You've done like the podcast run, then now you're finally slowing down on that side. But what was the recourse, or what is everything happening now with you?
Okay, so it's been like what, 3 weeks? I think 3 full weeks. We're going into the fourth. So it started off with our initial buzz, and then I went in right away to do an interview with Channel 7. They did a 27-minute long interview, and they only put up like 3 to 4 minutes of its entirety. That was it. The news attacked me for about 3 or 4 days.
Now, High has made headlines numerous times in the past. The Attorney General's office had found High had been, quote, repeatedly discourteous and unprofessional.
This is ridiculous.
What is this?
This is crazy. I'm listening to all these guys burp and just be absolutely foul.
You're looking at like the White Claws on
Yeah.
the table.
And
Is
so
alcohol involved here?
My
Where
first
are they?
thought is, okay, this can't actually be real.
I don't think there's ever been another case that has come out like this. It's so 2025, right? It comes out on the podcast and
Bizarre.
And then our autistic army decided to show them they might want to reconsider coming after somebody that might be looking out for the welfare of children in the city of Buffalo, especially when we have a binder worth of information that we got just from OSINT, just from open source intelligence gathering.
Just wait until those FOIA requests start coming back.
Oh, yes. So
I hope they don't, so I can sue them, actually.
it'll be great. So Nick starts doing the FOIA requests. I start getting calls from different news agencies. I'm not going on the local news anymore at all, unless it's the radio with David Bellavia, because he's been
Shout out to him.
fantastic.
Yeah, he's
David
amazing.
Bellavia's got a radio show on WBEN.
Who's the other guy? Ben, I think, too.
Ben's on Channel 2.
Is he?
Yep.
But he's been doing good.
Or no, Ben Tees from the Buffalo News.
Nate Benson is on Channel 2. He's
Yep.
doing great. And then Ben T is with Buffalo News. He's also doing great.
Yeah, Ben's been very funny to watch, even just on Twitter or X or whatever. That's been very fun.
That's the one with the autistic army. We're like, let him through. Stop. They all stand to the side and
Do not touch him.
Yeah, careful. He's a hero.
they're all standing at parade rest, double saluting.
So after the first week of like this onslaught of bullshit on coming towards me and me bearing the brunt of it, and then our army pushing back and saying, wait a second, why are you doing this? We should be looking into this. You shouldn't be shooting the messenger, even though he has a fantastic mug, which you can now get at Bunker Branding. And shirt.
Shirt.
Put down the wrong pipe. So then Channel 2 special investigative reporter actually did a little bit of a deep dive and discovered that since 2021, there have been over 17,000 police calls to the city of Buffalo.
17,772.
To be exact. And about 54% of them fall under miscellaneous or information only, which is fine if you get like a school board or like I don't know, like a school door was left open and it sounded the alarm, and you're like, all right, miscellaneous or alarm. It actually would go under an alarm call. Well, I stated originally that the schools were using these miscellaneous calls in order to cover up incidents of abuse on the children from either child on child or a child coming in and making a disclosure to the schools. Well, what do you know? Out of the past 4 major incidents that have gotten tons of news coverage from the City of Buffalo public school system, one of them being a stabbing or a shooting at McKinley, one of them I think was a stabbing. There was an overdose incident and something else.
The teacher,
and the kidnapping.
The teacher gave the kids THC gummies, and the alleged kidnapping that he's now getting charged for. Those were all school other.
The crazy one was the one with the teacher that warned them about that door. They're like, hey, students are taking knives through this door.
The stabbing in Riverside.
Yeah, they're like, no, that's not a problem. Student gets fucking stabbed from a knife that was snuck in through that door, and then they denied it.
Oh, I have the footage, yeah. So in the footage, the teacher actually wrote up a thing, and I looked into him. He's the union rep for that school. Okay, so he wrote up a thing like, hey, I've had students bring in large knives into the school. They get them through school security because these schools have metal detectors or some screening process. They're getting them in through this door that's not locked and has a bad door. And he wrote every school board member and sent it to him repeatedly for, I believe it was like 19 months that he kept pushing it.
God.
Was the reply, you bitch?
He apparently in their process, you have to push it up the chain of command, and there's 3 levels to get something approved. The first level was denied, and that's just like your direct administrator. He denied it. It's like, no, it's not a problem. He appealed it and pushed it up to the school board, and the school board denied it. Then he was still pushing to have it reviewed a 3rd time, and then it's on the superintendent. Between the 2nd and 3rd time, the stabbing at Riverside happened. That he was trying to get the issue fixed before it became a potentially fatal issue. And then they magically approved it on the 3rd iteration after somebody had to get stabbed.
Which is what he complains about. He says, this is reactionary. Why are we reactionary?
Well, he calls it, because that recording was before the stabbing, or right after. And he goes, you guys had to wait until somebody got stabbed, just like I predicted. And sure enough, somebody got stabbed. Now you're going to approve it.
Yep.
And then the school board member has the balls to stand up there and be like, you never told us about this.
Oh, starts getting in a screaming match with him.
Yeah.
Fuck
and like all the other
you.
teachers give him a standing ovation as he's walking away. So I'll get the editor of the video. You can go ahead and play it. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. It's crazy.
I just want to be clear that all the time we spend here in this fantasy land world, when students at Riverside are getting stabbed, there's fights there every single day. 911 is called on a regular basis, and no one has even come into the school and had a meeting like this and talked to parents and talked to teachers and talked to our students and said, how can we protect? Excuse me, this is my time. This is my time,
You're going to
sir.
receive more time, but
This is my time, sir.
If you would have came to me and told me a situation about a knife, at that point, I would have called the authorities and took the proper action with the
Okay, know what you asked me? I can refresh your
Mr.
memory
Hurd,
if you want.
Mr. Hurd, the speaker has the floor.
I told you about the knife.
The speaker has the floor.
Thank you. I filed a grievance 19 months ago, and it was very detailed. In that grievance, I talked about how a student brought a knife in the side door. It's written in the grievance, which I sent to you all. Guess what? The student who, the non-student who stabbed the student in our school, guess what door they came in? That same door. And they were in the building that day, and no one even told us. The DA had to tell us on the news. We had to do our own investigation. So there's a student with most likely a weapon in our building, and no one's sharing that with us. I'm gonna say this. This district has done nothing, and I told you, what's it gonna take? Someone getting stabbed or shot to have someone come in the building? And that's exactly what it takes, because no one has lifted a finger for security at Riverside High School. It's a dog and pony show every single time. You send in people for a week, it disappears, and then it's a disaster again. These kids and these teachers deserve better. And if you can't do the job, then all of you should have the dignity to resign and let someone else do it.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno.
So we go to that.
Yeah, so it takes a kid, it doesn't matter, kid, adult, fucking teenager to fucking die. Only for you to be like, oh, there's a kid coming to our school with a knife, with a gun. Nah. You should have been like, oh, there's a threat of a knife. Let's cut this shit down before it even gets to a death of someone's kid or daughter. Like, son or daughter, it doesn't fucking matter. Oh, it gets me so infuriated, man. I'm gonna give myself a fucking rage fever. Like, 13 minutes of this and I'm already screaming. Like, shout out to that dude, protect him, because, like, he spoke out in a way that would get him killed. Unfortunately, that's where we live. Luckily it was against a school board and not Boeing. But, like, he warned months in advance. The kid brought a knife to school once. He was like, gotta cut that shit down right now. Well, he tried. Excuse me. And now, a kid had to lose his life underneath his care, unfortunately. And now that's on his conscience forever. Because he tried to save it doesn't the specific kid, it does matter, but like could have happened to anyone. And rest in peace to that kid. I don't know if he passed away or not. They didn't say specifically, but if he did pass away, rest in peace. Moment of silence.
That where Channel 2, the investigative reporter, pulls out the stats and says, hey, wait a second, look at these numbers. These are concerning. These 4 major cases were all intentionally mislabeled as something other than what they actually were, whether it be stabbing, shooting, overdose, etc. Then, shit, I lost my train of thought. What happened after that? There was the 21 thing, and then, oh yeah, then that's right. Then the guy that did the attempted kidnapping of the 2 kids.
When was that?
Well,
when was that?
Well, going back to the stabbing at Riverside, I believe, from what I can tell, there's been independent third-party investigations launched for the Riverside stabbing and for the shooting at McKinley in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of those independent third-party investigations launched by the school board have been released to the public or the Buffalo PD or the legal system.
Who's the third party in these situations?
Whoever they pick.
Yeah.
Right now it's open. Any law firm can get on their website right now and apply to be the third party investigator. And I believe with the Riverside stabbing, I looked into it, and the law firm that they did then cited, assumingly they found results that they didn't like. So the law firm's like, well, this is actually attorney-client privilege, so we don't have to give this to you.
Is that their workaround so they can just do it?
Yeah, so
that
this is a
way?
workaround. They're gonna say, oh, we're gonna do a third-party independent investigation, and then once we have the results, if we don't like them, we're gonna claim it's attorney-client privilege and never mention it to the public, and the public's gonna forget about it by then.
This doesn't require an investigation. It's just fact.
Yeah,
is the crazy part. What are you gonna look into? It's going to take you a fucking afternoon if you're not clinically retarded.
Right. Yeah. And they had a 4.5-hour meeting the other day trying to appoint a special investigator. 4.5 hours, couldn't figure out who they were even going to have do the investigation.
Guys, when you leave your dogs at home, do you ever worry that they might find your firearm?
Damn, maybe the ATF is onto something. No, I never thought about that.
Introducing Stopbox.
Stopbox.
I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals have a handgun for self-defense, as we all do. And if you do, it probably fits into one of 2 categories. It's locked up, but not within reach. Or it's just laying around where anybody could have access to it.
Well, Stopbox USA saw the problem, and they came up with the Stopbox Pro.
It's all mechanical, so you don't have to worry about it.
It's batteryless.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
What I love about this is it's TSA approved. Most gun cases, when you want to fly with a weapon, has 3 or 4 little holes. This one has 1, so you only need 1 lock, and then you do your...
Our listeners are getting 10% off if you use code UNSUB, and right now they're doing buy 1, get 1 free.
Oh, that's a crazy deal!
That's 10% off and a free Stopbox Pro when you use code UNSUB at StopBoxUSA.com.
10% and buy 1, get 1! They have to be operating at a loss!
One of my favorite parts about the Stopbox is that it is actually made in America.
Made in America!
Discover a better way to balance security and readiness with Stopbox.
Stopbox.
By the way, from somebody inside the schools, quote, BPS General Counsel Nate Kuzma, who works at the same firm as the former DA who opened his mouth, who's full of shit, has made an attorney-client privilege so that it could never be shared intentionally. That was the end result of that one.
So that's one thing to look out for or really stress moving forward is not letting that happen as they hire a new one.
Yeah, they'll have somebody investigate
They're
it.
intentionally not going to hire a new one. I can't prove it. I can't prove it with evidence, but I have multiple people that have all basically said, well, the superintendent's retiring in June and she has 3 or 4 friends on the school board and they're basically going to stall this until she gets her good retirement and then they'll let it go to an investigation. So they're just trying to drag this out as long as possible to protect their buddy. Then they're going to drag it out as long as possible.
Who's the superintendent?
Oh,
The hyphen
Dr.
woman.
something Knight.
The one that's really upset
Yeah.
that she had to shut down her social media and ignore everybody coming to her with concerns.
And who's going to be next appointed? Because you knew who's next in line,
so the
which
next
that's
guy
something to
getting
watch out
appointed,
for.
I've heard from multiple sources he's not great either. I can pull up his name.
Well, he's friends in that group, so he's already conditioned for this.
Well, there's only
behavior.
like one male in the board, isn't there?
Dr. Tanya Williams Knight.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I got a hold of the teachers union rep. I sent him an email because one thing the news did that was really shitty is they took the one snippet where you were talking about allegedly one teacher in particular was putting kids inside of a bathroom with the lights off.
Yes.
One teacher is what we said.
Correct.
The news then portrayed it to the teachers union president, Richard Nigro, that we were saying this about all teachers.
Which we're not.
And he was upset. Obviously, like that's fair if you think that we're saying all Buffalo teachers are throwing small children in a cage, which we're not saying at all.
We were
and
specific
he's like,
on that.
you're painting everybody with a broad brush, right? But they're just clipping couple second segments out and portraying it.
On another podcast called Black Rifle Coffee Podcast, High described how some teachers and teacher aides use school bathrooms for so-called timeout rooms.
The Buffalo Public School will put children in the bathroom and turn off the lights and then put their foot against the door so the kid can't get out. Where's the timeout room? Oh, it's the bathroom. Timeout room is the bathroom? Yeah. What do you do in the timeout room? Well, my teacher and the teacher's aide, the Buffalo Public School, will put children in the bathroom and turn off the lights.
Wow, I wonder what that's like.
Yeah, exactly.
Geez, the news doing that to two people who are trying to better the environment for people in their community? Brandon, who would know what that feels like?
You know, this is why I think that media trust is at an all-time high.
Oh.
And it's a smart move on their part because right now, all the information I have hundreds of teachers that I've talked to and interviewed and everything. And they're the ones that are giving me all the information, telling me what FOIA requests to fill out. Like, they're the ones that are helping. By and large, all of these teachers are great people trying to do what's best for these kids. And they all feel that their hands are being tied behind their back. They're not allowed to do what needs to be done to keep these kids and themselves safe. And the administration is intentionally doing it. I mean, you're 2 decades into your career at this point, and you've never been written up in 20 years.
Never.
All of a sudden, instantly.
Getting called down to the administrator's office. And the odd thing about these write-ups, they weren't anything. They had no backing. It was just to intimidate me. I mean, it just got crazy. I just pulled it up before I got on with you, and I have this document. It's like every other day we are getting called down. And I got to the point where my phone would ring in my classroom, and I would get sick, and I would puke. Because I would literally go to the bathroom and puke because I was being tormented every day and supposed to teach kids at the same time. And it makes you physically ill because I'm not used to treating people this way, ever. And I'll tell you what, it started then, and up until a month and a half ago, it has not stopped. They have not stopped retaliating against me, and it's almost gotten worse.
So what they're doing is they're coming out and making it seem like, oh, we just want to burn everything to the ground and go after these teachers. We don't. Like, the teachers are great. It's just not even all of the administration. Some members in the administration and the culture that they've created are not safe, and it doesn't allow these teachers to do their jobs.
Which is really fun that you have teachers on the inside that are essentially like with telling you what FOIA requests to file and shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically like they're giving you the exhaust port plans on the Death Star. Like, please, for the love of God, blow this up.
Well, the scariest part to me is every single, with the exception of like one or two, and the one or two that I've talked to, the only reason they're not terrified of losing their job is because the school board has already gone after them repeatedly and tried to fire them and lost in court.
Correct.
Nice.
The gentleman that we've already showed the clip of at that school board meeting, that was a union rep. I forget what instance it was, but he got into it with the Buffalo School Board over some safety stuff, and they put him on paid leave for 2 years while they tried to fire him.
What the fuck? Including other people.
Including, because he was the head of the social studies department. So not only did they put him on paid leave, they put the entire social studies department, which I believe was 5 teachers in total, on paid leave for a year and tried to fire all of them. And by sheer coincidence, the other 2 social studies teachers of the 5 that they put on paid leave were the other 2 union reps for that school.
Almost like they're trying to union bust, which is
illegal.
Oh!
What the
And then they ended up losing in court, saying the teacher did absolutely nothing wrong. And the Buffalo School Board's people testifying on their behalf were found inadmissible in court, presumably because they got caught lying under oath.
About what?
I don't know exactly what. I have the court documents, and you can see that like their testimony was deemed no good.
And nothing happened because of that?
He ended up getting to keep his job.
No, but I mean, like lying under oath, there was no repercussions?
Why would there be?
It seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. If there is a mass layoff or they try that, understand why it's happening. It is the big cogs right now that are the issue. It's a lot of the times what happens is the big cogs at the top, you can't do anything. So they're just like, oh, replace these ones until we find team players, and then rinse, repeat until you do find team players. But right now, the goal of all this is to get rid of those fucking big cogs that are literally pieces of garbage.
Ed Dranch is a giant cog.
You know, his comments are still turned off on his Twitter.
Good.
They're going to have to be turned off for a while.
His phone number was on his Twitter for a while.
Well, it was like his business phone number, I think.
Yeah, that was an interesting call.
You know, maybe don't attack the podcast as trying to stick up for kids, and then double down when we quote you and post the entire 1.5-minute opening of your video where you do that and go, well, no, that's not what I said.
It was taken out of context. I'm like, no, I watched the full fucking thing.
We played more of his original opening in that video straight than they did of my entire 20-something minute interview at Channel 7.
It's wild not to apologize. I do not get that mindset. It's like, I wonder if I just came out and was like, hey, sorry, I messed up. How that might react. Or
even
the
if he was just like,
audience.
hey, just to clarify, I think, like, you know, these are very important allegations. I didn't mean to downplay it, whatever. Like, just take a little bit of accountability.
Yeah. My intent wasn't this. You don't even have to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My intent was to talk about the thing, and I hit on this thing first. I could have saved that for a later date. And our army would have been like, hold.
Hey, Brandon. Yes, Eli? When you think of businesses that are just crushing it, Bonker, Unsub, what's the first thing to enter your mind?
That's easy, Eli. A good child labor law attorney.
Huh?
Eli, I said Shopify. What did you hear?
Actually, it was the overlooked secret behind the business.
Like I said, Shopify.
Oh. Which brings us to today's ad.
Shopify. I mean, we use Shopify on a daily basis.
That's right. We use Shopify for Bunker Brandon and
for it.
Neat.
Neat.
very
yeah,
exciting.
So,
for all the lawyers out there, this is called foreshadowing.
I'm conflicted because this news channel's been the least courteous to Rich, but they've also got the best journalist working for them. So it's kind of one of those cases where like Nate Benson works for Channel 2 WGRZ, but everybody else that writes on it that isn't Nate Benson shits on Rich to the point that it's now defamatory, and I can prove it. Okay, so in multiple articles, including YouTube videos that they put up, which I have saved, and news broadcasts that they've aired, which I have saved, and news articles that they've printed, they've all claimed that Detective Richard High is on the Brady list.
Yeah.
You know what the Brady list
Which is incorrect.
Yeah.
Guess what I have?
Well, would you like to explain what the Brady list is?
The Brady list means that you're on like the no-fly list when it comes to the district attorneys for when you go and take the stand to testify. It specifically states that you have credibility issues, which I know I've never lied on the stand, and all of my internal affairs or complaints never has to do with my evidence collection, my time on the stand, my integrity, or lying about any sort of charges that I've put on. So I have zero credibility issues on the stand. That is my history. Yeah. But them saying that I'm on the Brady list would say that I do have credibility issues and that I cannot testify because of those issues.
It's a pretty big allegation.
I would say it's significant and would look very poorly in my career.
Yeah.
Because a detective not being able to testify is significant.
That would be
very
crazy.
damaging.
And then
Very
we put it
damaging.
right here, right? We can show the clips of them saying that right here.
Yeah, I have them.
The allegations made on the Unsubscribed podcast by Buffalo Police Detective Richard High have prompted the Buffalo School Board to seek an outside investigator. Officer High alleges the district failed to report an attempted abduction, sexual assault, child abuse, and destroyed evidence, which he discovered while working a case. Allegations that have outweighed High's status on the Brady list, which is a list of law enforcement officers whom the Erie County District Attorney's Office have found to have credibility issues.
So Channel 2 is the only one that even after it came out, that like, oh, he's actually onto something. When all the other news channels just started referring to him as SVU veteran detective Richard High, they would still put in the article, these allegations appear to outweigh his placing on the Brady list. Like just mad they have to admit that he's doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have the Brady list. Guess who's not fucking on it? Richard High. So claiming that somebody is so uncredible that they can't even testify in court under oath is a pretty big allegation, right? The problem with defamation is if I was going to sue you for it, I would have to prove that it wasn't a genuine mistake and that you did it maliciously, right? So how would I be able to prove that?
Well,
that they
like
were
a history would probably be able.
Oh, like an ongoing history? Cool. What if I trained an advanced AI to go through their entire website and catalog the top 10 officers in the history of the news source that they've written articles about? And Rich is the third most reported on cop in Buffalo history out of 800 police officers, and not a single article is even remotely charitable to Rich.
Some of them don't even have to do with me, but they bring me into the article to then defame me.
Anytime they get a chance to throw him under the bus, they do it. Okay, so I can prove that he's the third most reported on cop in Buffalo's history out of 800 cops, which to me says that you've got a wild hair up your ass and you're gunning for him. Okay, so I'm able to prove that you would lie on purpose because you don't like him, right? But then what's even harder is I then have to go out and I have to prove that he's not on the Brady list, which he isn't. And then what was the other facet? I have to prove that
it wasn't a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake, which, the evidence seems to imply that.
If they try to fix anything, it is Sunday, May 18th, 2025, when this comes out. I don't want them to be like, oh, look, see?
Better redact this.
Yeah, like, this is the exact date. 10
Luckily,
days, I will then enter again, just again.
I have it all saved.
Okay.
We have the Wayback Machine, fuckhead.
Yes.
I have it all saved in catalog. But, like, then the real problem is, like, okay, so I proved it was malicious. I proved that, you are lying. And that was on purpose. You've got it.
Like, bro, you got nothing better to do? Like, seriously. He's a great fucking cop. He cares about he's getting attacked for caring about kids. Like, if this kid had a kid, obviously he fucking doesn't. Because if he did, he wouldn't be acting like this. But even if he did, he might be a piece of shit dad. Or whoever it is. I heard a dude, so I'm saying he. Like, come on, you got nothing better to do with your fucking life? Jesus Christ. How about you actually grow some balls? I swear, next thing you know, they're going to be making a news report on me reacting to them. Calling them out, calling them harsh things. Oh, a guy with COVID said some harsh things. Oh, it's just because he's sick. He's delusional. He belongs in a mental asylum. Well, unfortunately, I don't have the money for a lawyer, so I'll gladly go to jail defending kids.
You maliciously did this to Rich. So then the problem is like, okay, well, it's just...
We will protect Rich, by the way. I'll protect Rich forever. Because if he were to have an accident, no, he didn't.
One cop. It's one detective out of 800. How much is that really worth in a defamation case, right? But then you got to realize Rich is probably the most famous active serving cop in the world. Anybody think of another cop
Like active?
A cop with multiple millions of subscribers that's recognized nationwide and globally, who built his entire online persona around accountability, doing the right thing. And then you come out and you say that he's such a piece of shit that he can't testify under oath because he lies all the time. Seems like that'd be worth a lot of money in court.
Yeah, and also that proves a financial harm to your brand.
I wish Rich would come
that
on
was the other part. That was the other part. Is I would have.
Oh, wait, I think I have watched it before, just a while ago.
Have to prove financial harm, which would be tricky to do, unless I got like 20 to 30 people to comb through every Reddit and Facebook post that's been out since this case broke. And
Oh, don't worry, the fans are already on that shit. They're already going through that guy's entire fucking existence since the day he was born. They got his birth certificate and everything.
and took screenshots of hundreds of people parroting the same talking point that Rich is on the Brady list.
Oh.
Which came directly from them, from a credible news source. So now I can prove that it did harm his reputation.
Yeah.
If there's any lawyers that would like to take up this case.
Yeah, so I guess I'm saying if I were Channel 2, within like 48 hours of this video dropping, I would have a whole article apologizing to Richard High on how you guys were wrong. And when I say a whole article, I don't mean go back and change the articles. I mean, I would make a whole article titled WGRZ apologizes to SVU Detective Richard High.
What was that?
Article titled WGRZ
WGRZ. Let's go check. It's been 2 days. And he said 48 hours. WARZ. Oh, it's not popping up on Google. Did they apology? Not WARG. Oh no, that is what it was.
I'm apologizing to Richard High on how you guys were wrong. And when I say a whole article, I don't mean go back and change the articles. I mean, I would make a whole article titled WGRZ apologizes.
WARG. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh. Yes, they did do it.
This is to SVU Detective Richard High for fucking lying, or I'm
looking here to see if Channel 2. Not Channel 7, Channel 2. Oops. So I guess if I skip over this, you can, but I'll try to see. Is this it? So I don't want to do the Facebook because I don't want to dox myself. If they did,
going to turn over all this evidence and then go to the kitchen and grab some popcorn while I watch him sue the dog shit out of you.
Cheers.
Oh,
I love
like
you.
this so dude.
I like to see bad people get what they deserve.
Right?
You get what you fucking deserve.
Well,
High's allegations have outweighed his status on the Erie County District Attorney Office's database for law enforcement officers with credibility concerns. Even though he's not on it and never fucking was.
Quote, Channel 2 WGRZ.
Oh my God.
Whoa. You're being
And I know
foul.
Reddit probably had a heyday just going through.
Oh yeah, I got hundreds. I got hundreds of comments parroting their false talking point where they defamed him, and I have the screenshots of all those comments already. So, I mean, if they don't want to apologize publicly with its own article and put it up on your fucking YouTube channel and the news broadcast, then I'm just going to turn it over, and I can prove that you've written about him the third most out of 800 cops over the course of his career. Nothing's ever been charitable. You throw him under the bus every chance you can get. I can prove he's not on the Brady list, and then I can prove that I have hundreds of comments of people parroting your false talking points to discredit him as, defamation and harm to your credibility for the most famous cop in the world. So that reputation's worth a lot of money. Up to you guys.
Parry that, fuckhead.
Nate Benson, sorry, you're a great journalist, but somebody else working at that news agency has it out to get him. I don't know if it's Ron Plants or the guy writing his scripts, but they're going to cost that place a lot of fucking money unless they start eating some crow. So, see you soon. The Buffalo School Board is just creating policies where it basically ties the hands behind the backs of the teachers that are trying to do the right thing. And I have multiple teachers, multiple interviews, I have hundreds of stories via written. But they all say the same thing. They've all attempted to do the right thing, and they've all been instructed by the school board that they're not allowed to do it. And I've asked repeatedly, and nobody knows that this is actually written down, but every single teacher has told me this without me asking. They've all told me the same thing. Buffalo school teachers are not allowed to call 911. They have to talk to an administrator, and the administrator makes that call.
Geez, Nick, does that ever come up in one of these stories where something happens and it could affect the health, welfare, and well-being of a child?
It sure does.
Wow.
Multiple times.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we can go into the THC gummy ones. So I've interviewed multiple people on that. I've interviewed the uncle of one of the boys that took the 500 milligram edible. And he is very disappointed with the school board. How do 500 milligram edibles just wind up on the hallway floor or the locker room floor in a middle school? And then why would a teacher pick them up and give them to children? Whatever, stupid shit happens. Maybe that is happen. Maybe that did happen. That's not my overall issue with the thing. My issue is the school and their policies at the administrative level do not allow things to get addressed as quickly as they should for the safety of children. The paramedics who I've talked to and I've interviewed.
Quick, what is the age of the children? This is
11 and 12.
Okay, so you have 11 and 12. And 5 milligrams. 5 will wreck somebody that's never done it, especially when you weigh 80 pounds, 90 pounds. Now, 500 milligrams. Like, what would 50 do?
I know what 500 does to an 11-year-old because they were hospitalized with resting heart rates of 130.
You said he found it on the floor?
He allegedly found it on the floor, either in the hallway or in the locker room. And I have a picture of the THC.
Like, why would you give it to a child? My mom's boyfriend, they were both gentle with me when I took my first edible. Just to explore it, just to see how it is. I turned 21, they were like, okay, try it. And I'm like, okay. I did, but they gave me an extremely low dose. Kind of like I take my medication to sleep. It felt like the exact same. But I'm 21. I'm 200 pounds. So the extremely dose was perfect for me. Like extremely low dose. But for a kid that can weigh from 60 to 50 to sometimes 40 pounds, depending on like what their situation is in life, how much they're eating, or maybe some kids at that age are like up to 100 pounds. Doesn't matter. 500 milligrams will set even an adult on a trip for hours. Like, I watched this clip on Instagram Reels of this guy who took an edible trip, and even he was freaking out. Like, he was freaking out physically and mentally, and I'm sure that was just a low dose even for an adult. But if he was freaking out like that, as an adult, as a third, I forget how old he was when he took it. It was a while ago when I saw that clip. Then It's understandable why that kid ended up in the fucking hospital. Honestly, that guy should be charged with attempted murder. Because that is literally attempted murder. The kid almost fucking died. Jesus.
Gummies. They resembled Sour Patch
there.
Kids, but as you can see, Stony Patch covered in weed.
They've got singular Cyclops eyes.
It's singular Cyclops eyes that in a colored version, they're very red, as if you'd been smoking weed.
Huh.
So, but granted, it does, if you're just taking a glance, maybe it does kind of look like Sour Patch Kids, and maybe it was all an accident. Whatever. That guy should still be fired, but that's separate. My issue is when the EMTs get called, the EMTs show up, and I've talked to the EMTs. They pull up to the school, and nobody will let them in. The doors are locked. Now, if a child is overdosing on an illegal drug, I would either A, have somebody sitting at the curb waiting for the EMTs to show up and then immediately take them to the children, or I would have the children outside waiting and hand them off. Not what happened. Took the EMTs, I believe he said, 8 to 10 minutes to find someone to let them into the building. And nobody would even come to the doors. It was actually the security guard from the parking lot that came in, and the security guard's like, hey, what's going on? He had no idea. He had not been briefed on the issue. So it took them somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes from arriving on the scene.
And that kid could have died because of it, of an overdose. They're like, oopsie daisy, the kid was retarded. He didn't pay attention, that was weed. They say all that. Not my fault. Oopsie daisy, a kid died. Who the fuck cares? The parents, the neighborhood, the rest of the community who have kids as well, grandparents, etc. War zone. On to protect kids.
To get to the children that were overdosing on an illegal drug. And then once they got in there, the principal was apparently just didn't really give a shit. The school resource officer that was there comes up and is arguing with the EMTs like, well, do they really have to go to the hospital? They look fine. And the EMT is like, yes, they're going to the hospital. So that was an issue. And
I want to read this. Let me back up real quick. Okay. By the way, you guys can read this along with me. Let me just turn off my camera real quick so you guys can read down here. Give me 1 second. Let me find my camera, video capture device. Boom. I'm not going to read it because my voice sucks right now. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm on the second paragraph, by the way. I would have put, like, I know, if violence is your first answer, then you're never right. Well, sometimes dumb people like this deserve a punch in the face to help awaken them.
comes up and is arguing with the EMTs, like, well, do they really have to go to the hospital? They look fine. And the EMT is like, yes, they're going to the hospital. So that was an issue. And then a patrol officer showed up on the call as well. And the SRO and the patrol officer got into like an argument about why that guy shouldn't have even shown up and the SRO had it under control.
Meanwhile, you said this kid has a resting heart rate of about
130, correct. He's having the worst day of his life. He just had 500 milligram edible.
Just so we reference, if it's 50 per gummy, so it's a 500 in a little bag.
The
and
two of them
bag.
ate an entire bag.
Jeez.
So yeah, 250 per, and again, like 5 would wreck somebody at that.
Yeah.
That level, 50,
Bro,
200.
I'm a dropout of college, and I know that that's a fucking weed bag. How does someone who is older than me, probably in his fucking 40s, be like, oh, it's just fucking candy. Here you go, kids. Plus, even if it was candy, it could have been affected because it was on the fucking floor of a school that's 100% dirty, that has constant kids going in and out every day. Different kids, come from different like situations of households. Some of them come to school dirty, smelly, and you just don't do that. Even if it was regular candy, you throw it away, and then they get a clean bag of candy. Let's just say it wasn't weed. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. You still gave them not potentially, it was lethal. Because that kid's still in the hospital. You still gave them poison. And you can be charged for, fired will be generous. You can still get hired after that on a different job at a fucking grocery store. But I can't. But anyways. So yeah, like, you could be charged for poisoning. That is literally poisoning a minor.
150 if they split it.
So they ate the entire
Wild.
bag because it was candy. And so this is all going on. And I believe it was the principal or the assistant principal. It was an administrator that had the bag. They had to go into the administrator's office and be like, hey, I'm trying to figure out how much drugs these kids had under your supervision. Where's it at? And she had it sitting underneath her big like metal tumbler. And the EMT said like she was trying to hide it. And when he directly asked her for it, she like reluctantly gives it to him. And he investigates, sees that it's 500 milligrams in the bag. Okay, now he knows. He hands it back to her, takes the kids to the hospital. Comes back, and he's, taking notes. He wants to see the bag again to either take the bag or take a picture of it. We don't know where the bag went.
Oh.
So the evidence disappeared.
Wait a second. I feel like the destruction, intentional or unintentional, of evidence is like an ongoing theme with the City of Buffalo school system, whether it be video evidence or physical evidence like this bag.
Richard, isn't it crime?
Destruction of evidence? I believe there's something. I'm tisming right now because I believe New York State Penal Code has that.
Sounds like justice is being obstructed.
Now, so like that's pretty bad, but like it's an indicator of the overall problem, right? So they're just not working with first responders in the way that they should. And all the teachers have told me this. They're not allowed to call 911. They have to do everything through the administration. And I interviewed another teacher who wanted to remain anonymous, so we're going to play that clip here in a second. But has a story, and I believe I've shown you guys a video, so we don't have to watch it. We'll just play it for the audience.
When I taught at another school in the city, the music teacher had a student that passed out cold. And this was probably like a 6th grader. She ran over to my room, the teacher, and she said, so-and-so just passed out on the floor. I can't wake him up. Come help. I went over there. I'm like, we got to call the police. So we called the rule is you have to call an administrator before you call police. You have to. So we call the administrator, and the administrator says, you are not calling anybody. We're going to call the mother and have her come over. And me and this teacher are like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't wake the kid up. Like, we need an ambulance here now. No. The principal came down to our room and stood there while this kid is passed out. Passed out. No ambulance, nothing. Do you think that's crazy? Mom finally shows up. gosh, I don't even remember how it ended. I know mom was motherfucking everybody, you know, and shame on me. I was younger back then. But there's always this idea, like there's always this, you're always scared of like, you're going to get in literally, I don't know what ruling the administrators have, but there's something that they do that you are scared shitless.
Do you remember what ended up happening with the girl? Like, why she passed out? I mean, did she get to the hospital eventually?
She did get to the mom brought her to the hospital. Yeah. And I remember she was back in the building the following week. So.
I mean, she was out of school for days after this.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they probably didn't double back to let you know what the medical issue was. But regardless, I mean, that girl could have been ODing on drugs, and it took, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to get mom, drive there from work, pick her up, drive her to the hospital rather than just calling the ambulance?
Yeah, it was probably a good, I would say it was about 20 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes. It was awful. Awful. Like, we could not wake this student up.
So, I mean, it took this kid an hour to get to the hospital when she lost consciousness and was unresponsive, and she didn't end up making it back to school till the following week.
What I just don't understand is the incentive. Is it just the, whether it's anti-cop sentiments or just trying to make the school seem better than it is, or like it's functioning better than it is? Why do they feel like they just have? What is their goal?
I truly believe, on my side, just the overview, stranger to it, haven't deep diving, it is, oh, we need to look good. Look how good. Yeah, we had 17,000 calls, but half of those were just what were they called?
School other.
Yeah, school other, the information only.
It's small stuff. See,
Yeah.
we're really
Miscellaneous.
safe. Yeah, miscellaneous. We're really safe. You're good to go. Funding, however that works, and you just keep doing that.
Yeah, and then that shithead lawyer that works for the school from Lipschitz Mathis or whatever the fuck that law firm is comes on the news and he's like, actually, the sheer volume of calls that they've contacted the police clearly shows that they're working great with law enforcement. I'm going to conveniently ignore the fact that 54% of the calls were listed as school other. So then we call them out, and that doesn't work. So then they get fucking John J. Flynn, I believe his name is, former district attorney.
His middle name is Jizz.
And the news brings him on, and he fucking is like, well, actually, I was a district attorney, and I promise you that, the whole time, I realized that the dude was only getting charged with misdemeanors for assault and child endangerment, and then Rich came out and said that he was kidnapping, and then the DA, after having a bunch of backlash, magically was like, oh, we are going to charge this guy with felony kidnapping. But, that had nothing to do with the podcast, and I would know because I'm a former DA. What the fucking news didn't tell you is Flynn also works for Lipschitz Mathis or whatever the fuck that law firm is that is directly working for the school board. The entire thing's bullshit and rigged.
So the only people that are talking out or speaking out in their favor are people who have a financial incentive to do so.
Correct. Financial and legal obligation to do so.
Just clarifying.
Isn't that neat? Isn't it cool how the news left that part out, that he's working for the same law firm that protects all the administrators? It's crazy the news would do that.
It's funny because Flynn also said that he didn't have any incidents where the school was covering anything up during his tenure at DA at the DA's office as the DA. But you know what, Nick?
It took me all of about 15 minutes to find out that not only was that a fucking lie, you can actually still go on change.org or change.gov and sign a petition to this day demanding that he step down as DA because he refused to prosecute childhood sex crimes appropriately. That's the entire reason they wanted him to step down.
How many thousands of signatures does it have already?
It had 3,500 before I put it out to the internet. There's probably hundreds more because people went and also signed it just from mine. But it was 3,500 people legitimately from Buffalo that would have signed this thing, demanding that he step down for not properly addressing childhood sex crimes.
Do you have like a single instance of those, just one of the stories?
So a lot of the story that it goes back to is in years prior when he was the DA, the Archdiocese, the Catholic Church operating in the area of Dubuque, had a priest or multiple priests that had been accused of childhood sex crimes, whatever, and he apparently did not do his due diligence in investigating and punishing those sex crimes. And I think the Archdiocese of Dubuque is like in a stage of bankruptcy right now because they've been sued so many times. But that being sued is a civil lawsuit,
right?
Not a criminal lawsuit. So that means that the parents, allegedly, if these kids were assaulted, we're having to go into the legal system and file and sue the church individually, and there was no criminal prosecution. And that's why they wanted this guy to step down, is because he was not doing his due diligence in punishing childhood sex crimes. So for him to come out and be like, yeah, I would have never done this as DA, it's bullshit. You did it.
Mm-hmm. Also, one of the specific things that I brought up happened during his tenure. One of the stories where there was a assault at a school pool, and the school principal, this happened 2 years ago while he was DA, and the school principal failed to not declare it. Oh my gosh, report it. And then a year later, the child that was the victim of it disclosed it to somebody else. Then it became an investigation. But guess what happens after a year? All physical evidence is gone. The video is erased and like recorded over because it's been a year. They only save it for like, let's say even 180 days. That's gone.
Yeah.
And that school principal wrote the DA and said, hey, I'm not going to come in for the subpoena that your office sent me because I did my own investigation and I don't really care. Sent a letter stating why they're going to refuse to respond to the subpoena while he was the district attorney.
I have a question. I do history videos on the internet. If I were to apply at Buffalo schools to be a history teacher with no degree in education or history, do you think that I would get hired?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Why is that?
Well, because you don't have like a teaching degree.
Oh, so I don't have the proper training to be a teacher, yet they don't have any training to be an investigative detective, yet they can host their own investigations, determine that no crimes were conducted, and then not inform law enforcement, even though they're a mandatory reporter. That's what you're telling me.
I mean,
yeah. Apparently they have. Apparently they went 12 years in college. And then went to, like, another 12 years to go all the way through. Apparently they're cops too, retired cops, because they became detectives in order to do their own investigations. Nah, that's something up for the FBI, your local police detectives, like CIA, Children Protective Services. Like, it's not up for the school. You guys are just adults working 9 to 5. You are no different, no higher level than any grocery store worker or fast food employee. You're all at the same level. Just because you went to college a little bit, got your school degree, does not make you any more intelligent, any more powerful than a fast food employee. I know I'm gonna get comments saying like, "Oh, I'm wrong." So fucking what? My point's still getting across.
that's exactly what I would get out of this story.
Like
and it also happened during his tenure as DA, which goes against what he was talking about when he went on the news to open his big, fat, stupid mouth.
They're like a slam poetry duet.
Cody, look. What? Not at me. Look at Brandon.
What? What?
Yeah, that's right, Cody. Those are Stell 700s by Turtle Beach.
Do you mean the ones that have an 80-hour battery life?
TurtleBeach.com. We love you.
Buy a hammer, go to the beach, find a turtle.
Wasn't there also allegedly another potential sex crime that was conducted, and when the law enforcement officer showed up to investigate it, all the administration and teachers had gone home for the day, so he couldn't do his job?
Yes, there's two new stories that have come out.
When was it? Okay, when was this?
Since our original.
This has been.
What? It's just one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. Like, it keeps coming up.
Since this is, while they're now facing intense scrutiny, this is what they're still up to.
We are like B-Day plus 22 or something right now.
So I'm going to tell you, I think one that's more telling, that is a better picture, because it's all on body cam. So I was made aware of an incident that happened at a Buffalo school that happened, and I don't know the call number yet, so you can't even ask me about it. All I have is information from individuals that were there. School, police, EMT, Not going to say who. Just saying that information was given to me by a couple different sources. And the information is that a sexual assault had occurred at the school, at some school. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I know that it happened because of the people that are telling me about it. A sexual assault happened at a school in the city of Buffalo. Officers responded to that school. The officers asked the staff for information, and I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It was assault. It was just a normal assault. It was a two students had beaten up a janitor or somebody that affected within the school. So the janitor was basically stomped pretty bad.
These like high school age kids?
I believe so.
Okay.
The janitor is stomped pretty bad and beaten up by these kids. Jumped. The officers go to the school. They talk to the principal and say, hey, this is serious. We need the video of it. And also, we need to know these kids' names. And the school principal said, no, not giving you anything. Not giving you the kids' names. And they're like, okay, but they're suspects in a crime. They jumped somebody at your school. They attacked basically one of your staff. We need to know who these people are. Even if we're not going to make an arrest and we go throughout the whole process, we get them counseling, something needs to start. We need their names. The principal refused, called up legal counsel, said legal counsel also told me to tell you to kick rocks. I'm not going to do that. This is all on body cam. And then the officers had the wherewithal to say, hey, here's the supporting deposition. I want you to sign the supporting deposition stating that you are refusing to give me the names of the suspects that assaulted your staff because they're individuals that go to your school. And she signed it.
Oh my God.
So so she wrote the deposition. I'm refusing per legal counsel, if I'm not mistaken. I'm refusing per legal counsel. At least I'm refusing to give you the names of the children, juveniles, 17, 18, who gives a shit, that assaulted one of my members of staff.
So they don't care about any staff, or it's just how their reputation is all they give a shit about. Because they're not protecting their own and they're not protecting the kids.
They're not protecting anybody. So now these two kids can go, they've got carte blanche. Why not go assault another staff member? Why not go assault some kids? Teachers or the principal's not going to give any of my information away to the police. So there you go. Families that have their kids in schools, the principals are allowing juveniles that are assaulting grown adults to remain around your children with no recourse. If your kid's being bullied at a Buffalo public school and you're not getting the response that you think you require to address that issue, this is your red flag. You might want to get involved.
And I believe there's actually a couple of class actions right now against the Buffalo public school system.
There's now ads going around Facebook and ads getting mailed out by law firms that are basically asking people like, hey, this is apparently a prevalent issue. Get a hold of us if you want us to take a legal suit against Buffalo schools.
And this is, I guarantee, we've talked about it, but this has got to be way more. Buffalo's a great starting point, but y'all need to rally too and figure out if this is happening in your districts and start expanding and asking for this information.
Yep.
Because this is definitely nationwide thing.
I did even more digging on the Shane Cronin case, the alleged kidnapping at the magnet school with the museum.
Go on.
I have written testimonies from teachers that were there that day.
Oh, interesting.
Blurt out. They got a hold of me, and they told me that, one, they were taken aback and disgusted when they watched our podcast because this individual...
Because we belched or because we were drinking?
No, because they were there that day and had to hear that there was an alleged kidnapping.
Caesar's M.
They found out from us that there was an attempted kidnapping that day, not from the administration. I have the Buffalo Schools handbook and how they handle emergency situations. The Buffalo School District has 3 states of emergency. They have shelter in place, lockout, and lockdown. Shelter in place is something for like inclement weather outside. Hey, there's a tornado or winds or a flood. It's not safe to leave the building. Stay inside. Lockout is, hey, there's an external threat to the school that we're worried may come in. We're going to lock the exterior doors to the school so nobody can get inside. Lockdown is there's an interior threat to the school. All of the teachers need to take the kids in the classrooms, lock the doors to the classrooms, and then take a roll call so we can account for every child. Going back to the testimony.
Foreshadowing.
Quote, During the active intruder gaining entry into the school building through the museum doors, school staff were never instructed to go on lockdown, but only shelter in place.
Oh, well, this isn't a storm. Go on.
Certainly not a storm, especially for a grown man breaking into a school. That would be a lockdown situation where you locked the school doors.
Breaking into the school for the purpose of kidnapping 2 children.
Whether they knew that or not at the time, yes. Breaking in is an interior threat. They should have been on lockdown. Continuing the quote, I do know that the assistant principal was attacked by this man as he attempted to gain entry to the second floor hallway, which contains 3rd through 5th graders. After the police arrived, the intruder was apprehended in the museum. Nothing in regards to further safety precautions were taken or offered to the students or staff at School 59 that day. The children and staff were not released from the building, and the day continued as if nothing had happened. Parents were also not made aware of the incident until a letter went home with every student the following day. So yeah, they didn't tell the parents the day that it happened. They instead sent home a mass letter with all of the elementary school kids. So who knows if the parents even got those letters. I wish I knew what the letter said, but obviously I don't live in Buffalo, so that would be really hard for me to, get a copy. Oh, wait, no, I'd have to fucking copy the letter.
Oh, good.
The letter. Dear parents and caregivers, as you know, safety and the well-being of our students is a top priority on Tuesday, February 11th.
Yeah, I wanted to laugh too. Well, our students is the top priority. Sexual assault, sexual assault, abuse, denying, only having a secret meeting. I don't know. Multiple schools having safety issues, and you're not one going lockdown. I don't know. I don't think you give a shit about the kids that come into your school. Obviously, you give a shit about the 2 ones that ended up in the hospital because of a teacher giving them edibles. And if you want to come after me, I'm not fucking scared. Try sending me to jail, and unsubscribe will bail me out.
That's how he was said. They were. Wow. Man, that caught me off guard.
You know what's really funny about letters like this is you could just say whatever the fuck you want.
I guess so. Hey, do these ones have untruths in them? Keep going.
Oh, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, February 11th, we had an incident where a man entered our school through the museum without permission. In response, the school was placed in a brief shelter in place. So if you guys want to say that it's an untruth that you didn't go on lockdown, I have your letter from your fucking principal saying that you went into shelter in place, which is not the appropriate protocol.
Boo. Boo schools. Boo.
Yeah, like, shelter in place. Even a 2-year-old kid can see a shelter in place, go look outside. It's not windy. Why are we in shelter in place?
And we immediately notified the Buffalo police, who responded within minutes and arrested the man. The school is also using this as an opportunity to evaluate and reinforce its safety protocols to help ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. District officials and Buffalo Public School Security also met on Wednesday with the museum leadership to discuss the situation. Buffalo's Public Schools Crisis Prevention and Response Team and other support personnel have been and will continue to be available to students and teachers. As parents, you may want to talk with your child as well. If your child exhibits any indications of emotional distress, we suggest that you listen to him or her. If they need to talk, answer their questions simply, honestly, and possibly over and over again. Please feel free to contact the school with any concerns or questions you may have. Thank you for your continual...
Yeah, please call us so we can ignore you and then revert you to our lawyers so they can laugh at your face and tell you to shut the fuck up, or else we're going to sue your ass into non-existence and make you lose your job. So please don't call us. We're saying to call us, but only call us so we can ignore your ass and we can watch your kid die and we won't give a fuck. We'll just bury him in further than the 6 feet deep sand. Like, I swear. Unless this got news coverage like the Columbine shooting. That's probably why it didn't get enough attention until he had to literally call his friends, be like, hey, can I hop on? They're like, yes, let's get this shit out there.
Support, sincerely, Principal Mark Shoemaker. So if you have questions about their concerns, they want you to contact them at the phone number 716-816-3370.
I would have concerns.
I think I would have concerns.
Dr. Charles Drew, Science Magnet, Buffalo School, number 59. So yeah, attempted kidnapping, didn't tell any of the parents, didn't go into lockdown while there was a grown man attempting to kidnap children inside the school.
Fighting assistant principals. Breaking into more classrooms.
According to this testimony of the teacher that was there, he actually
He could have also killed a ton of kids too.
made it into a classroom, destroyed the classroom with the teacher inside. Wasn't sure if there was kids in there or not, but regardless, that teacher who was in a classroom that this man broke into, opened the door because nobody told her to lock the doors because she didn't go into lockdown, would have been an issue.
And that when they said that they called the police within minutes or something like that, that's all fucking lie too, right?
I don't know the exact response time, but the fact of the matter is everything that they can control, like, hey, go on to lockdown and lock your doors. There's a man in here trying to kidnap kids. They didn't do. And then they didn't tell the parents the gravity of the situation. They're like, oh yeah, there was an incident. We had to go into shelter in place. Didn't mention that he attempted to kidnap kids. Didn't mention to the parents that he assaulted a principal. Didn't do any of that shit.
I mean, that can escalate so fastly. Just if that is a shooter or a situation like that, that's how you can see how bad that will get without, hey, announcing to all the administration, somebody's in doing this. Instead, a person breaks into a elementary school room and destroys the room.
There's a grown-ass man in the school who should not be here.
Yes.
Who has gained access.
Yes, that would be considered an interior threat, which under their own criteria in their fucking manual that they got to write, they should have been on lockdown. And they didn't. Nate.
Damn.
Do you think anybody will be held accountable for that?
Well, no, not yet. It's become overwhelmingly apparent to me that the Buffalo District Attorney is not interested in actually getting people in trouble for this, and that the school board is desperately trying to protect themselves, and not all of them. There's multiple people on the school board. I've looked into every member. Half to the slight majority of the school board is actually great people that are involved for the right reasons. There's 3 or 4 people that are piles of shit on that school board.
It's almost like a fraternity of shit.
Or,
Wait a
or
second.
a sorority.
Or a sorority of shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, I tried to dig into this, but I can't access the AKA sorority records.
Alpha, Kappa,
but
Alpha.
Allegedly, I've heard from multiple teachers and employees of Buffalo School District that the superintendent and multiple people on the Buffalo School Board that all vote together and are the ones dragging this out and preventing it so that she can retire are all members of the same sorority. So they're just looking out for each other and not the kids. Allegedly.
Is that the wine guzzler too? Is the wine guzzler one?
I believe so.
What do you know?
Oh my God.
What do you know? The superintendent and the wine guzzler working together. So the wine guzzler who flips off people that are worried about their school and says so on a Zoom meeting, well, she gets to keep her job.
And who is the D?
And for you, bitch, fuck you, bitch. Have your priest that you're fucking talk shit to me.
EA that's completely disinterested in this, by the way?
Oh, what is his name? What the fuck is his name? That guy that got a DUI in 1984? That guy that got a DUI in 1984 for, what was it? I believe he was driving under the influence down the wrong lane with no headlights. He then attempted to evade the police. After getting stopped, did a field sobriety test. And then after he failed the field sobriety test, attempt to escape police custody, injuring a police officer in the process. He then, he comes from a very, from what I was able to read, he comes from a very like affluent, well-connected family in the area. And he was directly asked by the news when this came out during his election if his father's status had anything to do with the fact that these felony charges for evading cops, injuring a cop, if his dad had anything to do with the fact that those cases were then pleaded down to misdemeanors. I believe he had like 90 days of probation or something and like a $250 fine. And then the courts actually sealed the records so they couldn't be pulled up against him again. But they accidentally got released during a FOIA request. Oh. So they got leaked out anyways.
No, I know that you've never said it. You've never said it, but I've heard people who have, that maybe his daddy's connections were the reason why that didn't turn out worse.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that would kind of make sense.
Well, but that happened in the past. You shouldn't judge somebody off their past.
Wait a second. I get judged off my past all the time.
Wait.
I'm controversial. Guys, you forgot. I made funny videos on the internet. I called a kid fat one time and got in a car accident. I was not, but kind of was, on the Brady list per Channel 2. I'm the guy you shouldn't listen to, and I understand now why the news shit on me all these years for being a bad person. I've learned my lesson. I think I've grown.
Is there a single person in that binder who doesn't have a, I don't know what you would call it, maybe a rocky history?
Not really, no. But I think I've come up with a solution. So I don't have faith that the DA is going to do his job. The Buffalo School Board is going to try to drag this out as long as humanly possible to hoping to God everybody forgets. So
if I have to, I'll re-upload this a shit ton of times. I don't give a fuck if it's called stop spamming. Then start helping the fucking kids. Because kids are fucking committing suicide. It's more than this. This is bigger. There's just a place to start. A place that is honestly perfect to be a sacrifice. A good sacrifice, a deserving sacrifice. Sacrifice is too fucking nice. But some of the teachers there are good, like he says, but I'm talking about the bad apples. I'm sure if a kid committed suicide there, they wouldn't give a fuck about it. If a kid, if a kid beat another kid to death, they'd be like, oh, they were just roughhousing and they got too far.
My answer to this is, I've looked into it. It takes about somewhere between 85 and 110,000 votes to swing a federal election in the state of New York. So if you were a federal law enforcement agency like the FBI and you got 100,000 fucking complaints about the Buffalo School Boards emailed to you, do you think maybe the federal government would get involved at that point?
Boy, I couldn't ignore that if I wanted to, if I was a member of the Federal Bureau of Investigation or Attorney General's office. It would be impossible for me to ignore that. In fact, I think I would have to look at it. Considering the volume of complaints, I would have to take that as some sort of serious event that needs an investigation.
You would be a fool not to.
It would be foolish not to, yes.
And you want to be transparent, too.
Even if you wanted to cover it up because the government doesn't like holding itself accountable, do you think that the federal level government would spin around and hold a school board and local government accountable, knowing that if they didn't, it would sway an entire federal election?
I think that could be possible. You know, the governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul, actually had a response to the investigation that's going on, well, lack of investigation that's going on in the city of Buffalo. And I'm going to have to pull it up real quickly because I don't want to be misquoted for my governor. I would hate to put words in her mouth.
But this little podcast where people burp and are foul and drink alcohol has brought these allegations to the point where the governor is making a fucking response.
Well, I apologize. It's not the governor. It's the governor's press office. So she's obviously very busy and couldn't comment on the second largest school district in the entire state. Her hometown, actually.
Really?
You know, these things happening, which she's busy. I can understand. So she would have to have her press office make the statement of, it is our understanding that there are active investigations by law enforcement regarding certain allegations, as well as the internal review by the school district, which hasn't happened yet.
Which is a lie because they haven't even announced who's going to start the investigation. So that's not true.
And we await the results of those reviews. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it would be that Governor Kathy Hochul's office, maybe her, because I don't know if they got this to her yet. Hopefully somebody can get it to her, are aware that the ongoing abduction case is still, well, ongoing. But yet they are willing to wait for the Buffalo school systems to complete their own internal investigation. Which, Nick, that one investigation from 3 years ago, is that out yet to the public?
The shooting at McKinley High School?
Yeah.
No, that
not.
hasn't been released.
Noted.
Neither.
This is the first time I've heard of it.
School shooting? I believe the other investigation.
A school shooting not hitting the news? It's like they suck the dick out of school shootings, out of kids killing each other. But There's one school shooting, they don't? What? Crazy.
Regarding the stabbing at Riverside High School, that investigation's results have also never been released.
Okay, so those investigations, although they are ongoing, even though they haven't actually started the investigation currently for that school, even though those ones are done and we've never gotten the results for it, the governor's office is going to wait on the investigation from the Buffalo School District, who's never shared anything about their investigations before, to complete before anything happens. So,
what a hilarious non-statement. We are aware that some things are being looked to, and we wish them luck.
Yep.
And wait,
so my
school shooting. What?
It was outside the school. It was like a gang thing. Like a kid ran up on the school and shot a security guard while trying to shoot another child during dismissal. So there was a lot of kids out there.
What the fuck?
Our department flooded the area because we thought it was going to be like a planned school shooter. It was more gang violence, but nonetheless still a shooting at the school. The security guard was wounded, and I think somebody else, I think a student, don't quote me on that, but that's what happened.
And they just said
they said they did their own investigation, and that investigation is not shared. That's what we talked about earlier.
It's not released to the public
because it's attorney-client privilege.
Yeah. So they have a pretty good history of not sharing results of the investigation, which would concern everybody. So I think my solution now would be to put up the email of the FBI, and we'll put it in the description as well. And you can email
I think it would
the
also
FBI.
be like right here on the screen.
And let them know, hey, you should probably be looking at Buffalo Public Schools. And then if, I don't know, this video gets 1 million views and we can rely on 10% of you to take 30 seconds out of your day to shoot an email, and then the FBI gets 100,000 emails, which is enough to sway a federal election, we get to do this cool thing where we pit the government against itself and watch it eat itself alive. Oh, and what's even funnier is Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, came out 10 days ago and took a hardline stance on protecting kids in school. So this is almost like me walking up and putting a home run ball on the tee for them to make an example out of somebody.
That was 10 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Weird.
What happened there? Anyway, I'm going to make this simple for all of you that are listening. I don't care if you think that the other 10% are going to do it for you. You, on your phone, right now, you should probably send an email to somebody saying to look at the Buffalo Public School program and that it's an issue.
Don't swear.
this is
Don't
not-
like just spam memes.
Please
like,
don't get on there and be like, this is Epstein's Island 2.0. There's a crazy ring. There's not. We're not saying that. The school administration has harbored a culture of not valuing children's safety as the highest priority. And because of that, we think that children are continually getting put in danger they don't need to get put in.
Nick, do you think that we could have, like, I don't know, a template email that we could put up in the description?
Like if I wrote a letter that people could just,
copy and paste
and put it right into the email and send it 100,000 times? Yeah, we could do that.
It'd be a shame if that was in the description.
No.
We're going to put that in the description, and maybe the website to do so is going to be right here. Maybe it's right fucking here.
Can we do anything with the was it the change one where we do
Change.org?
That's a petition.
A petition?
Would that help at all also if
I
we
think-
stack with it, or just the emails is the main thing right now?
I think the petition, I don't want to say no. I want to leave all options open. But at this moment, with my governor's office being aware of it and then choosing to sit back, I think that it has to be the FBI or the AG's office that is bombarded with people caring so that it is unignorable. I would also really like the New York governor's office and like senators like Chuck Schumer and Gillibrand to also be bombarded with the same email.
So could we CC? What we'll do in the description then is put those emails in for you to CC
Copy,
add.
paste right into send to. You know what'd be really funny is if at one of the school board meetings we just had Unsub Live in the parking lot.
Oh my God.
I wanted to go to the first one so bad. Maybe I just get somebody with a camera and I go to one of the next ones.
What are they going to do? Call the cops?
Well, if they do, they might just...
That's the catch-22. That is the fucking...
Finally, you're doing what we wanted.
Call the police.
I always wanted to get a
The
mug
cops
shot.
storm in. Let me guess, you guys are here for school other.
What was one of the most wild things during all of this?
Honestly, the craziest part for me is just like the saddest part for me is just the sheer volume of teachers that I've talked to that all said the same thing. Like, and I made sure intentionally to do it unprompted. Like, I didn't want to ask, like, hey, do you feel like the Buffalo School Board is tying your hands behind your back, preventing you to do the right thing, and you're scared of retaliation if you do the right thing? I made sure to not mention that. They all organically brought that up themselves. Like, all these teachers that I've talked to are phenomenal people that, like, genuinely really, really care about these kids and want to do the best they possibly can for them. And they all feel that the school board and its policies are preventing them from keeping those kids safe and doing the right thing. And they are all, with the exception of people that have already been retaliated against extensively, 95% of them are all extremely terrified of being retaliated against. And I have the interviews, and we've already played one of those interviews where he says, I've seen people's... They said they've seen people's careers get ruined by this.
Which should never be the case. And the goal, I think the goal also should be, I think we said it in the past.
Let the bad ones roll because they all common alliance.
Was repercussions for not addressing this should outweigh repercussions for addressing. It's like, oh, you might get fired, but the people that get fired, if you get fired for that, they're going to prison. It is making examples. If you don't
if you
report
obstruct.
Yes, if you obstruct, report.
If you're the low guy that's afraid of losing their job and you've been in a place of fear and you made a mistake and didn't report something, you're not the person we're upset with. We're upset with the people that put you in that position, that made you fear for your job and your livelihood, that are preventing you from doing the right thing. And because they're preventing you, it's creating this culture of fear and making you, along with others, afraid of the repercussions from your overseers or administrators. And that is why these issues aren't being handled.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it reminds me of something that I was thinking when you made a post the other day where they're trying to basically just stick it to this one guy, the guy with the kidnapping charge.
Yeah.
They're just trying to just stick everything to him and like, see, we did something about it. And it's like, no. See, this is like the, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish kind of situation.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting charges. That's fucking great.
You're treating the symptom, not the cause.
Exactly.
We want to treat the cause.
If the people responsible for the culture that is built in Buffalo public school systems don't get some sort of accountability, this is all for nothing.
100%.
What's next on this?
Well, next, I sit back and laugh as the FBI launches an investigation into the Buffalo School Board and the District Attorney of Erie County.
And we also get to watch the civil suit go on. Civil suit, yes, but the
class action
lawsuit with all these people that have had their children wronged go against the Buffalo City Schools.
And then I sit back and I watch and I wait.
I'm looking
as these people, the school board members have elections coming up in 2 months. So
we'll be involved.
If you guys don't unfuck this, I'm going to get involved in that. And then
I think all of us are also available to testify.
He did this for free. I think we can get involved now.
I think we might have.
I have it in my calendar in 2028. The District County Attorney of Erie County also goes up for re-election. I'm going to get involved in that election too if he doesn't unfuck himself. And just so you guys understand, if you haven't grasped what I mean by that, we've been involved in elections before. Brandon, how did that one election that we were involved in go? That federal congressional election?
Oh, running against an incumbent, who I believe incumbents have a 93% re-election rate in this country.
And how much money did he have over?
I think it was about 10 to 1.
10 to 1?
Spent about 10 to 1. Took him to a runoff, which was very expensive. I think he budgeted $3 million for his election. He had to spend 13.
Oh, interesting.
And he barely snuck by with 400 votes in a runoff election that he was not financially prepared for.
Huh.
So
we didn't even get to say that kid was putting children in danger.
Or failed to put children in a better position than when they started.
So, I mean, whatever. We're going to give your opponent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of free good press, and we're going to give you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in free bad press. And I got enough money. I'll buy billboards all over Buffalo to shit all over you.
Well,
funny story.
That might have already started. Not from me, but from people in the community who want to let you know how they feel.
By somebody who lives in Buffalo.
By somebody who lives in Buffalo.
Dude, those DMs are wild. Like, hey, it costs more, but it's worth it. And these are just.
There are random people that are doing God's work in the city of Buffalo by putting up billboards. Can't wait to see you in June.
God, we got the orbital autism space laser on this fucking city.
Yes. It's like rods of God. There's just puzzle pieces
clicking into place
of titanium.
Is there any legal reason that I couldn't sell yard signs pertaining to this incident?
No.
On Bunker just for cost
As
to
a
break even on
private
them?
citizen, I don't think there is.
Oh. I'm going to look into getting yard signs for the city of Buffalo.
Well, you know what?
On Bunker branding.
We could probably, maybe we do that.
I'll sell them at cost. I don't need to make any money off that.
Yeah.
I'll do that for the fun.
Dude, what should those yard signs say? If only the comments section could help us out.
Only
with
the card slogans and designs, people. I want to see them.
We're gonna do one of the name things.
Don't get drenched in the bullshit.
Don't be a cog.
Yeah, don't be
a cog.
and don't be a cog.
I like that one.
Buffalo School Board for unemployment.
Oh, classifieds.
And anything for you, Rich, on any final closing statements on what you want to see or done or just personal?
I think that if you've watched it this far, we've laid out a compact and easy plan for you. There is a cut and pasta for you to email exactly who you need to email. We're even telling you who to email. That is the smallest, easiest thing you could do. And you can do it literally as we're sitting here bullshitting with one another. Everything other than that, on top of that, is whipped cream and a cherry on top of a sundae. I look forward to the signs. Can't wait to see what you degenerates write down in the comments for potential signs. I bet you the highest voted one is going to be despicable, and I love it. Continue your fantastic use of social media in the bullying of journalists.
Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. And the checks and balances that you provide to local news media when they decide not to cover something or to potentially skew what the story should be about. That is very appreciative. And also, love reading the comments whenever you do that in those spaces as well.
To quote the donut operator, bully journalists.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not people.
They're barely even real.
Except for Ben.
Ben is nice.
Ben T's great.
Ben and Nate Benson.
We'll have to discuss something and figure out something for our own news for Pepperbox.
Oh, I mean, if this goes well, we might own Channel 2, so. I'm waiting for that apology, Channel 2. That better be the fucking headline.
Oh, yeah.
If you think we're kidding, we're fucking not.
WGRZ, I've already contacted a defamation lawyer in New York.
Oh,
He's
you
the
did?
biggest
Okay,
dickhead I could find. So, headline, WGRZ sincerely apologizes to senior Buffalo SVU Detective Richard High. I want a full article about how you guys f*** this up.
I promise you that will be
They haven't. I searched. Maybe I didn't search well.
much less expensive.
I really want to change your name and own you to
to
Buffalo WGRZ. and our shirts are gonna say "come."
With you burping.
We're gonna make you come. Watch our channels. That's my goal.
Our lawyers are gonna do foul things to you.
Yes, absolutely foul. Which, by the way, is a shirt now.
Is it really?
On the unsub channel. It is. We made a shirt that says "absolutely foul" because it was such a good headline. We couldn't just leave it away. So we've got the bad bitch stuff. We've got the new absolutely foul shirt for unsub.
And all of the money from that will go toward
my
helping
legal
make
funds.
Make this fun.
Yeah, to making this fun. All the money going to that is just going to be used in the most pivotal way.
If we get arrested for this somehow, the mug shots are going to be fucking hard. I like it.
If our mug shots can be on a mug.
I want the Johnny Cash t-shirt.
Yep.
The mug shot.
When I got arrested, I should have got a mug shot. I really missed out.
Senior SVU detective admits to being arrested.
I know, that's the entire article. That's it. FOIA request.
You're not a real man if you haven't been arrested.
What was that for?
Oh, I got in a fight with a drug dealer.
Oh, really? No shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was off duty, and me and my buddy called 911, and then the next day, like after the police showed up, and they tased one of the guys that we fought because he was throwing bricks at us and trying to fight the cops.
Oh, I know the story.
Yeah, we were like, oh, hey, thanks for showing up, guys. We appreciate it. You can see they're an issue. And then I drove away, and then the next day or two, I got like a call, and they were like, you got to go to court. And I was like, for what? And they're like, the drug dealer you fought wants to press charges. I'm like, that's what?
Reverse Uno.
Yeah, I was like, what a reverse Uno card? I was like, what? Okay, I guess. Sure.
Well, Richard,
Sure got a mugshot.
thank you so much for having trust in Unsub, all of them, and then all of us, and the fortitude to starting it here.
Yeah, that sucked.
A month ago,
The first couple of days sucked real bad. So thank you for coming to having my back. The first couple of days sucked real bad.
He was super stressed. Cannot stress that enough. Is you were worried, and once you've seen the love, it was, and the support, it was instant. You said it was like,
yeah, it was like a weight off my shoulders. The community, like, you came in hard for me, and I appreciate that. I can't repay you for that.
So thank you all. Like, seriously, thank all of you for that. And then thank you, buddy. We appreciate you and we love you.
What can I say? I'm pretty. I do a lot of stupid shit. I'm just glad that you guys can back me up on half of it.
And Nick, you autistic. Thank you so much for doing this level of research.
I can't
Holy
wait.
shit.
I can't wait to hand that over to the FBI.
We've got so much more than the binder. A lot of it's digital on my part.
I have a lot of interviews recorded. I have hundreds, maybe thousands of emails.
He's so autistic. He tried to print out a video on this, and he just kept
I was about to
poking
make
the
that
paper.
joke.
Yeah.
I seen the play button. I was like, push it.
It could work.
Thank you guys so freaking much. On that note, Cody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining the Unsubscribed podcast. Today, I was joined by Eli Double Tap, Fat Electrician, Angry Cops, Brandon Herrera, myself, Donut Operator. We love you.
Okay, bye.
Kisses.
I'm going to sue Channel 2.
Alright. You guys made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. And shout out to all of them. They're amazing. And let's go to war.